Greetings, citizens of Earth. You are barking a happy tune with my pal Smurf of Smurf and the Magic Tones on 5280 Geek.
Live from the Vegas studios, it is Weekend Geek Update. Smurf here. And I have a cavalcade of companions.
Cavalcade of companions. I always wanted to be part of a cavalcade.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be part of the groupies, the fans. Smurf here, along with our sponsor, who is going to be sitting in more regularly, the Amatic, the Shiny, the ever-so-brilliant Suz-E.
I don't know if I deserve all that, but thanks for having me on.
It works. And, of course, this week, Ryan is on location. He is filming the feeding of the piranha in Botswana. And PJ will be stepping in on camera duties this week. So, thanks, PJ. And he's drinking a soda. He actually reverted to soda, eh? This week we are going to catch you up on some of the nerdy stuff, catching our eye, in addition to letting you know what's going on. Of course, Suz-E is going to talk about an event that we created, which is going to be very cool, coming up at Outworld Brewery. But before all of that, Loki. I have to say, between Loki and Black Widow sucks. Loki at least kind of ended on a better thing.
Okay, well, you know, I'm one of your friendly neighborhood lefty feminists here. So my problem with...
How do you find scissors?
Yeah, it's a challenge. They have to not be pink. They have to... Anyway, so I really, really wanted to like Black Widow, and I did for the most part. But... they never put the emotional labor of family maintenance on Captain America.
They didn't.
They don't have...
They don't put it on anybody.
Right. Just her.
Just her and the failed Captain Marvel film.
Right.
Which was horrible also.
Right. So, I mean, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam was trying to help keep his family going.
Right.
But his sister was doing the emotional labor. That's like taking care of the kids, keeping all the bills straight, you know. And if that's a division you agree to, that's fine. But if it's just dumped on you because you're the girl, that's not going to fly with me. So. Well,
and it's just lazy. There's so many things lazy about this film that it's just like, why? Why?
Wired magazine said it was the perfect film, but like 5 years too late.
You know, and that a lot of nerds have like lit up the chat boards of like this would have been great 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Phase 2, going into Infinity War, there would have been some buy-in. There would have been like some emotional tether to, you know, ScarJo going over the edge, and. But there's so many other things wrong with this film. Yes, it is a little too late, but there's so... I mean, Crimson Commando is a punchline. He is a punchline through the entire frickin' film, and it is sad.
Well, and they never explain why. Like, Elena or... One of the ladies points out that Cap was frozen during the alleged.
Oh yeah, because he's in prison, and like all of a sudden that's the excuse.
Oh right, one of the Gulag prisoners. Anyway,
and then he snapped his hand. Like
right, but they never get to that. Like if you're gonna have that as a running gag, you have to explain it to people.
Well, and it's so like night and day because you go from this intense opening where he's more than capable.
Right.
He's running with an airplane. He's shooting people with like a lock lever frickin' gun.
Right.
And then we get this awkward, stupid guy that I just don't understand.
A has-been, like someone who peaks in high school, and that's kind of
Isn't
it.
That Ted Bundy or Al Bundy.
The other thing is that those are very different people.
They are very different people. I apologize. Just my mic started acting up over here, and I'm just like, what is going on?
You know, the high point for Jeremy C. of Suz-E Q's, since we have more than one Jeremy hanging around now.
Yeah, we got a lot of Jeremys.
That one of the problems for Jeremy C. through the movie that he kind of didn't let go of was that little plane that they take off in the first.
Oh, that Cessna?
Yeah, he's like, that plane is not going to make it to Russia. And so, like, we had to stop the movie and have a logistical discussion. And normally he doesn't pick things apart like that. And we don't, it's a movie and we don't usually go there. But there was so little happening for him. And he wasn't buying into the premise. He's like, there's no way that plane is going to make it from Ohio to Russia. They're going to have to stop in Cuba. And then all of a sudden they did. But that's very telling. This was a highly anticipated movie. I was definitely on board with telling Natasha's story, but they didn't tell Natasha's story.
There was no story told for her.
No.
Okay, let's be perfectly clear. We get the 90s.
Right.
Which we get a small snippet, and that is it. And even the My Pretty Pony, because Red pointed this out, the My Pretty Pony that they showed.
It's a modern one.
It's a modern one,
yeah.
So it isn't even in the right time.
No.
And there's so many just like miscues for this entire stunt.
The Red Room could be a whole series by itself. It doesn't even have to specifically center on Natasha. The Red Room is such a fascinating, and we got a little peek of it way back in Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Because that woman that lived in the hotel with Peggy was a Red Room agent. And that is such a fascinating story. That is such...
Got nothing.
None of it. And then how gross was that? Oh, I pheromone locked you. Ew.
That is dirty.
Ew.
But you know, all I could see when I saw him show up, I'm like, hey, look, it's Harvey Weinstein.
Right?
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm all for equal rights. I want everyone to be treated equal. I want sexes, I want races done with, and just people be people.
Right.
But when you're playing to these tropes and you're just misrepresenting people, all of them, no one fits. I mean, even Taskmaster, and this is the character that I have been dying for. This is the one I have been begging for since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, we talked about it last week. Is it Taskmaster, or did they just rip off the name like they did?
They just ripped off the name,
like they did in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm honestly at this point that wasn't Taskmaster.
Right.
It wasn't.
Also, are you telling me the only resolution to that was to break her own nose? Like, there's no such thing as nose plugs? We've got these, like, high-level spies and
she walks in there with a digital face and she can't plug her nose.
Right? For the creepy pheromone guy? Ew.
Creepy Weinstein?
Creepy
Agent Weinstein is here to interrogate you. You will smell my pheromones and you will love me?
I wanted to love it. Scarlett herself in interviews has pointed out that she's not just a piece of furniture or a backup dancer to the other heroes, and that's
exactly
I feel
what
like
that
that's
was.
what they did to her in that movie, and
I like the other widow, her sister, who steals the scenes.
She does.
Every scene that she is in, she does this command performance,
right?
And it's spectacular.
Oh, Florence is a hell of an actor.
Yeah.
I mean, she really is. My friend Lori is all about that movie Midsummer,
right?
Which Florence is in, Florence Pugh. I haven't seen it because I don't do horror, but
she's
you can just see it on the poster, like her acting skills.
Yeah, and she's in the King of Scotland, that Chris Pine film.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Where it's about Robert the Bruce, so it picks up kind of after they kill.
Right.
She does a great job in that.
I love Chris Pine. I think he's a great actor, but as you know, I'm a little prudish and I'm not ready for full Monty Chris Pine.
I don't know. Do we see full Monty on that one? You haven't seen it yet, have you?
Which one?
The Chris Pine where he's like the King of Scotland. He plays Robert the Bruce.
I was thinking King of Scotland with Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker? Oh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, that's not it. No, it's about Robert the Bruce after Braveheart. Kind of like the sequel to Braveheart.
He's too old for
Quote.
frontal. Chris Pine.
I don't know. We've got rumors that they're going to finally finish the Star Trek Trek.
Maybe. Did you see Fan Expo Denver announce Zachary Quinto's coming as a guest?
Zachary Quinto. We've got Christopher Eccleston. We've got Billy Piper.
I love Billy Piper.
It's going to be a full. I mean, I've got all of their signatures, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not sure. I guess I'll be.
Out in my booth.
I'm going to be sitting at your booth because if I don't get press, I'm sure I'm not going to pay for that.
Although that's how rumors get started, and just to be clear, they haven't confirmed me yet, but they're going to. I hope.
Yay! Fan Expo Denver. Yeah. We'll see. Fingers crossed. I mean, I am excited to see Christopher Eccleston again because I saw him in New York.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely brilliant. I traded lines with him from Gone in 60 Seconds. And it was great.
He's great. I actually love him more as Malekith in Thor Dark World. He was a great Doctor. That was a great reintroduction, especially for younger people who weren't familiar with Doctor Who, if that was their gateway Doctor. He was so good in that, but he just brought something really malevolent to Thor, and that was kind of not the best Thor movie, and he really shone in that.
He did shine quite well, quite brightly in that, and I was happy to see him, outside of like the mobster gangster films that he's been doing, and to see him in the MCU. Hopefully they bring him back. I don't know if they can in Phase 4.
I don't know. That's kind of getting a Star Wars or a Marvel gig is kind of great because even if you die, you can still bring you back.
Yeah, because I don't know what we're doing for Love and Thunder. We got Foster as Thor, so I mean, even Rene Russo popped back up in Infinity War, so anything could happen. And yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, there's so many things, and that's where I kind of get upset with like the whole Marvel thing because Loki. And DC's starting to suffer this now too because we've got the multiverse,
right?
Which that's like DC's now go-to,
right?
And now we've got Marvel abusing multiple Earths, timelines, and is it getting too convoluted?
No, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we knew the multiverse was coming. They've been talking. Kevin has been talking a lot about introducing more cosmic level characters. And I think that's great. It's a little confusing for me as a comic reading fan. So I don't know what the casual fans are doing. They must just be along for the ride. Because we talked about that too. I can't. In the early phases, after the first Iron Man movie, it was clear what was happening. Like if you read the comics, you knew what they were building to. And then you started getting the hints and the post-credit scenes, and then it started to fall in line, and you knew.
Yeah, we're going for Infinity Gauntlet.
Right. But now, and I mentioned on the show before, I didn't see Agatha Harkness coming at all. It completely blew me away. I couldn't see those clues at all. And so I wonder, we've got Valentina coming in, we've got the Hawkeye show is coming. I don't immediately see where they're going. And then to segue into your Loki conversation, are we going to talk about the big reveal, or is that?
Yeah, I think it's fair because there's three things that could have happened.
Right.
We could have had another Loki sitting at the end of time.
Right.
Which is kind of how they built it. We always survive. So they really kind of set it up. But every fan knew we're going for Kang, which was great. Right. I was like fingers crossed. Either it was the Beyonder,
right,
and we get the Secret Wars, or a Watcher that had gone rogue.
A rogue Watcher. I was leaning more towards Rogue Watcher until he said the 31st century, and then I kind of went.
Well, I knew immediately. Yeah, as soon as we walked in.
And so again, we had to. Jeremy C is great at a lot of things, but he's a new comic reader, and so I'm having to catch him up on things. And so he stops it and he's like, "What is the 31st century? Why is that a key for you?" And I said, "Well, I thought Sylvie was going to be Enchantress, and they kind of blew that out of the water."
She's still the Enchantress.
I told everybody for weeks it was the Enchantress.
It is the Enchantress. Enchantress is one of her names is Sylvie, so it is the Enchantress for all intents and purposes. Because making out with yourself is kind of dirty.
Right, and then again, they're relegating these strong female characters into these kind of poopy situations. Like, she's not the Enchantress in her own right. She's just another Loki.
Another Loki, which is lame.
Boo. So we had to stop and talk. We'd stop the show and talk about Kang the Conqueror for a little while. And that was just not...
It's not an easy conversation.
It's not an easy conversation because, yeah.
Which Kang do you talk about? Because he's a time traveler.
Exactly.
And he's hopped dimensions. He is a big bad.
He is a big bad.
And I think who they chose to play him, the guy from Lovecraft Country,
He's doing a good
VIP
job.
best performance in that whole series, because what that guy delivered as Kang was just absolutely bonkers, and I loved it.
Yeah, he's gonna be good, but it feels like like Thanos felt like a natural big bad. In the
Well,
early stages.
he is one of. I mean, there's only like a handful of Celestials.
The choice felt natural, but Kang feels a little forced in there. Right now, I don't know where they're going. I can't see it. And
well, that's it. We don't know because there's so many things they've set up. Because they've set up Dark Avengers.
Right.
They've set up Young Avengers.
Right.
They've Thunderbolts. And we don't even know what's happening yet with Strange, WandaVision, and all of that plugged in.
Right.
The Avengers exist, but who's on the roster right now?
Right. Are we going to get new Avengers? I hope. Because that's one of my favorites, and again, that's something that you and I have talked about offline. I'm a big fan of Sentry. I love our superheroes who are a little bit bonkers.
Poor Sentry.
And so that's what I'm hoping for. Again, I don't think it's realistic. Mephisto's around every corner, but I don't know if that's realistic.
That was another possibility.
Right.
I mean, there was no disappointment of like, okay, so it's Kang.
Right.
I mean, I was more disappointed they didn't let Thunder Frog out of the jar to whoop some shit up. That's what I was pissed about.
So the last 6 weeks have been at our house. It's been like we watch a little bit and then we stop and then we talk about Kid Loki, Classic Loki, Alligator Loki, Kang the Conqueror, the Enchantress, and how I really, really, really want her to become the Enchantress in her own right, because that, for me, makes Baron Zemo from Falcon and Winter Soldier make more sense. I know he's a regular Captain America rogue. But
well, he starts the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it only makes sense that he has... That's why I know we haven't seen the last of him.
Right.
And maybe we'll see some of him working with Kang. And, I mean, there's so many different avenues that this can go right now. And you're right, there is no clear path.
I don't...
But what do you set up for Stage 4? I mean, what... okay, the multiverse is coming. So are we dealing with Secret War? Are we dealing with...
But Secret Wars is coming in its own right as well.
Yeah.
It's planned... Is it a series that they're planning? I don't remember.
I don't know. I mean, because, you know, how...
That's Armor Wars.
Yeah, they got Armor Wars in there, too. So, because you know how they had, like... Every phase was capped off by the Avengers.
Right.
So is Secret War that cap for every phase?
I don't...
I mean, because it doesn't make... you're right. I have no idea where we're going.
And I think we're going to... If they don't do a better job of exposition for the casual fans are going to drop off.
Casual fans are already dropping off.
And
Did you see the numbers drop on Black Widow?
That's fair. So if you start doing these deep dives from the comic runs, you have to have more exposition. You have to have more setup. You can't just dump people in the deep end. They don't know what's going on. And I state proudly and regularly that I'm not against casual fans. If you want to come and talk about it with me and don't have the comic book background, that is totally okay with me. You have to, if you want to keep the Disney money rolling in, you have to do a better job of exposition.
Oh, I mean, because they've got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And Black Widow was not smart.
No. And Loki wasn't a disappointment. It was just sort of like...
Well, I'm tired, and you and I talked about this, and I've mentioned it once before. I'm tired of Loki being the punchline.
Right.
Because hey, let's smack Loki around for some laughs.
Right.
Let's punch Loki in the face. Okay, I'm done with you guys punching Loki. Let's move past that. And I think that they're just they're making fun of the fans at this point because everything they really almost just tore Infinity War down to the stone, and
Right.
it basically didn't matter.
Right.
And this is 10 years that people invested into a story, and you're basically saying, it didn't matter.
I think that moment was trying to differentiate the scale.
Maybe,
Sort of like.
but that means it needs a bigger buildup than just
Well,
a
that's what I'm saying.
nutter at the end of time
Yeah.
wrapped in a blanket, giggling his fool ass off.
That was my point. That's what I was saying all along.
Opa!
There's no plate to smash.
There's no.
Let's start pushing things.
Yeah,
off
you don't
the
want to
desk.
dent that. I know what happens when you dent that thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they're being vague intentionally because the longtime comic fans knew Thanos was coming early on. Maybe that it's meant to be a surprise and a treat for us later. I don't know.
Because we still have 3 films left to go before the end of the year, so we'll see. I mean, I'm not expecting much out of the Eternals. I know.
I'm so excited about
Spidey.
the
We got
Eternals.
Spidey and
I've got a
Shang-Chi.
yeah, the 10 Rings.
What if will be interesting.
I don't know. That was one of the selling points for a Disney Plus subscription, and I feel like they dangled it and haven't
Fulfilled.
brought it out. Yeah. So
Whoop, whoop,
August 14th.
whoop.
yeah,
August 14th. All right.
I think that we've definitely got our money's worth with the Mandalorian and the Star Wars properties, but the Marvel things have sort of
Petered out.
yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays. I mean, I've been very interested on the other side because Netflix has had some very interesting movies. One that I watched this weekend, which was Gunpowder Milkshake with Karen Gillan
Yeah.
and I don't know what I watched. I had this strong kind of Atomic Blonde John Wick sensation through it.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. It's a bit mindless.
A lot of explosions.
Not even there's just a lot of unnecessary brutality in it. And
Alright.
and these women, they absolutely kick ass. They own everybody that they come up against. And it's fun. But I just kind of was like, I don't okay. It was entertaining. Paul Giamatti is a dick in this. I like that Paul Giamatti has just become the designated dick role now. That's all Paul Giamatti plays. He's not even a nice guy anymore. Stanley Tucci, at least he can switch back and forth between an asshole and dad.
Right.
But Paul Giamatti is just full blown. Yeah, he's just a dick. I love it.
Well, I haven't seen it. Big surprise. I have to move it to the
queue.
To the queue. But I love those movies where you walk away and you're just not, like you said, you're not sure what happened, but
Yeah.
you didn't have a bad time.
I didn't have a bad time, and it was entertaining. It got me engrossed.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a bad film, but it's not. It's trying to be Atomic Blonde. It's
Right.
trying to be John Wick because this world that she's in is very established, like John Wick, like the Continental. We have the library.
Right.
There's a lot of similarities. There's the firm, so you can, the high table. So there's definite hierarchy in place, and we kind of get thrusted into the middle of this story.
Okay.
Which is, it's like I said, it's fine. It's neither here, it's neither there. It's just very, here you go. And I don't need the backstory. I really don't.
Right.
I can kind of piece things together, and they do a good job. They don't force it down your throat, but you can kind of extrapolate from what the story is.
To me, what comes to mind are American chain restaurants where,
Okay.
I mean,
you got me on this analogy.
the places that you go to because they're just outside the convention hall and you don't have to move too far to get there.
California
And then-
Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah, and you just eat there and it's fine and nobody got sick and it wasn't too expensive. But the minute you leave the table, you have no memory of it. It's just gone.
What did I just eat?
Right? It was so inoffensive that, you just walk away from it and never think about it again. That's the vibe. I'm sorry, Karen. That's the vibe I'm getting from this description.
It was. And I mean, I love Karen Gillan. Of course, all I could see was her from Marvel.
Right. Nebula.
Nebula, I think. I was Taraxia. Sorry, her real character name. Nebula. That's all I kept seeing.
Right.
Watching her do her
Just
role.
kicking butt.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was fine. Same thing with, like, Tomorrow War. Have you seen that?
No, I'm so behind.
Oh, my
you
God.
Know that.
Tomorrow War is even more weird. Because we have these people that are fighting the war in the future.
Right.
So Chris Pratt is in our time.
Right.
And because he dies at a certain time, he can go fight in the Tomorrow War. Because if he dies, there's no chance of him running into his future self. So they go through this whole story of taking the timeline into consideration just to throw it right out the window at the end.
Of course they do.
Because if they come back with the cure to stop them in the future, how do you not have the future then to go to it to get the cure and come back?
Right.
It's mind-boggling. It's black hole nonsense. But the one cool thing, J.K. Simmons is like prison jacked. He is just ripped. I was like, damn, look at J.K. Simmons. That man he's going to take a drumstick and beat you to death with it now.
Well, I'm an independent bookstore employee, and so I tend not to watch Amazon productions. So keeping that in mind, that I've not actually seen any of them.
Right.
Again, from Wired, it's they seem to have these really big ideas and
They do.
really not great execution.
Not at all.
Like Men in the High Castle, for example, that's classic sci-fi.
Good series, yeah.
It's classic sci-fi.
What if the Nazis had won?
Right. Jeremy C. was a big fan of the books, read and
Right.
bailed after a single episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't even give it a chance, huh?
No. Because it was just, and he liked the actors, and he liked the premise, and he did like the story. He went in knowing the story, and it just wasn't, he just pulled the ripcord on that and I never looked back.
Never came back.
Never looked back. Again, I have a stance that I'll probably never watch them just because I think we should buy books from people who want to sell books. Sorry to be all crazy lefty on you today.
Wow. What happened to the nerd Suz-E comic girl?
I had some dental work yesterday, and my jaw is a little sore.
Your
and
fake tooth with
I'm
your cyanide capsule
yeah,
broke?
I'm coming off pain meds, and so I'm just a tiny bit grouchy today. I'm sorry. I'll put my soapbox away.
No, you're fine. Red's all about reading too. Red is so dedicated to reading.
I just, I think we need to support independent business in the form it comes in.
All right.
And Jeff Bezos has enough of our money. That's all.
That is
I'm
true.
done now.
All
I
right.
promise.
I don't know how I feel about Tomorrow War other than it's entertaining. They have a good track. And again, it's like Gunpowder Milkshake. I'm really just like in between. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's not like, ooh, they put a lot into it.
Yeah.
They did. And God love them. Huzzah. It's not like F9 where we take a car into space, which I'm still fucking bugged about.
Yeah, that they're not going to get my money because the trailers were so weird.
Yeah. And then I saw this other thing. I don't know which magazine or which article it was, but now they're talking about bringing Gal Gadot back into the Fast and Furious franchise because we haven't seen her since she got sucked out of a plane when they were taking off, and I don't know which Fast and Furious it was, but you had no idea she was in Fast and Furious, did you?
No,
That look on your face said it all.
Sorry, I've never seen any of those films. They don't appeal to me. I'm sure.
I was on them for a while.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was cars, it was gearheads, and you could get kind of into it. Now it's just, wow, jumping the shark.
Right.
Jumped the shark like 3 films ago.
Well, I think anything that has 9 films, I am looking at you, Star Wars, tends to fall off after a minute. I mean, because how do you keep bringing fresh ideas to a 9 or 10 or 11th film? Like, how do you keep that going?
I don't know. I mean, be clever. I mean, there's people that produce like 9, 10 books.
Right.
I mean, how do they do it? I mean, to go with your read more.
Well, they don't have the same hurdles as a production team does, because when you're writing a book, you usually are on your own or maybe have a co-author. So there's 2 people and an editor. And so I just think the process is different. Not easier, just different.
Just different.
Where,
I mean, there's are more people to
Right.
to answer to in a production.
because how many people wrote that Fast and Furious movie? It wasn't 2, I promise. It wasn't. So you have to get agreement among the writing team, and then whoever acts as the editorial and approval system from there, and then somebody in the studio loves it or hates it, and I think you just have more hoops to jump through, and they want to make as much money as they can in the first weekend.
That's it, because we saw what happened to Black Widow. I feel bad. I know, and I shouldn't be harping on it.
I feel conflicted about that because I'm a little bit of an introvert and would always rather be at home. And so the fact that now I can pay less to watch the movie at my own house
instead of going into the
theater, but I want the theaters to still remain in business because that's the only outlet for some people. So then that brings some conflict for me personally. I don't have to go out, but now I still have to go sit through that movie again at the theater, so the theater makes some money. And
wow, everybody needs to make a little dough.
Everybody needs to make a little money. Yeah, that's.
I did like it that all the cosplayers did show up at the theaters.
That's great. Yeah.
For Black Widow.
Yeah.
Some of the local groups, and I was like, okay, I'm happy about that. I mean, we've got Ghostbusters still to come, which, yay.
Did you like Ghostbusters? I'm not real clear on that.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ghostbusters fan. Not at all.
Sorry. I apparently wore my sassy pants today.
Yeah, you did. It's okay. I'm happy with that.
All right.
So, keeping with films.
Yes.
And this is something that I just popped up. Ridley Scott's The Last Duel trailer landed, and oh my God, the cast that's in this. You know what I was thinking the other day? I was thinking, we haven't had one of those star-studded ensembles that do a period piece that is just,
right.
wildly wicked. And now we have this Last Duel that looks absolutely great. It's set in the 14th century in France. That happens during the 100-Year War. And it's based loosely on a true story, I guess.
Cool.
The people involved in this, so we've got Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Who else we got in here? I have to scroll. Marquette? Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of people. The trailer is great, and it's basically Matt Damon's wife gets accused of cheating. Donald Glover's in it.
Oh, love him.
Yeah, he's way better of an actor than I thought he was going to be. He just doesn't breathe heavy in a mask. He actually can deliver lines and perform. So he's a king, and he comes and rapes Matt Damon's queen wife. And, of course, this is the 14th century, so
right.
It's his word against hers, and Damon backs his wife, and they just beat the shit out of each other, and the nations go to war. And
swords are cool.
It's just Ben Affleck has blonde hair, like my blonde hair.
I'm not an Affleck fan.
It is weird. I'm like, you go from Batman to almost a ginger. Wow. That is crazy. But I'm excited to see this. This actually, and it feels like I haven't seen a Ridley Scott film in
a while.
Forever?
Yeah.
I mean, the set that's Matt Damon right there. And he's all, he's all full suited up. And the fight scenes that they show between him and Donald are intense.
Yeah.
Like he's taking a knife to him and
oh, crazy.
battle axe.
Okay, I'll have to go check out that trailer.
Every time I see a trailer like this, I think of Cable Guy and Jim Carrey. Hold still so that I might smite thee, And he's coming from Matt Damon. Or not Matt Damon. Matthew Broderick.
one guy.
That
the
one
guy
guy
that was in the movie.
Dude, that would be
time?
great if Carrie came at Matt Damon with a ball and chain. That would be amazing. What else is going on in TV? Oh my God. So you probably don't watch this because you don't watch TV. Because we've got, what I'm hooked on right now is Lego Masters, Hell's Kitchen, and The Hustler.
No, I'm sorry. I don't.
You're breaking my heart over here,
sorry.
Smalls. You're killing me.
I've got a list. I've got a little notebook in my purse.
What are you watching?
I was watching Loki and I was watching Bad Batch. And
Bad Batch has had some very interesting revelations.
I know. Like, I sobbed a little bit the last 2 weeks with bringing back Hera and Chopper. Because have you seen that meme about Chopper's body count?
No.
Yeah, there's a...
He's got quite the count, though.
It's like 57,000 kills or something like that, and he's just this little squeaky, foul-mouthed robot. Yeah, I love Chop. So that's what I've been watching. I know I'm a great disappointment. I'm trying to catch up.
And I mean, the Bad Batch has, because even in our previous conversations, we were like, okay, we're getting bored. We're ready. We're ready to check out. And I know a lot of people that did. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't take this. So then we got the revelation. It's Boba's sister,
Right.
which means, okay, so where does she go?
Exactly.
We don't know her story, and how does she end?
Right.
And now we're getting like little glimpses of other rebels that are going on.
I said it before. This fills a gap. It fills a gap
Yes.
in the timeline, and it tells stories off the main Skywalker timeline, which they promised they were going to do. So I don't know. I'm really into it. I love boots on the ground, day-to-day stories.
Right.
So I'm digging it, and I think it's so cute. Little Hera was.
She was
such a
little Hera.
badass.
She was.
She
She
was
was
such a
just.
badass.
Oh, I mean, it was so cute. I think Chopper was more effective than she was.
Well, yes, but you see the beginning.
You
You
do.
see the spark that lights her personal rebellion in this. If that's not too.
Well, now
cheesy,
we have seen
but-
two characters from Rebels
Yeah.
now show up because Kanan was the Padawan that got
Right.
away, and now we've seen Hera. So I mean, that's kind of all we can see at this stage.
And we've met Captain Rex.
We've met Captain Rex.
And we the sisters, the Martez sisters, Martez or Marquez?
Marquez.
Marquez.
I think so. The ones that were helping out Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah, and we've had an Ahsoka allusion. We haven't seen
haven't
Ahsoka, but
seen
we've
her
had an
yet.
Ahsoka reference.
Well, she's still running around because the sisters help her at
Right.
the end of Clone Wars.
Right.
So them running around is no big surprise. So we know Ahsoka is somewhere
Right.
and probably helping build the rebellion.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bail Organa.
No, not at all.
I'm waiting for him to show up and for us to do a trip to Alderaan.
That would be awesome.
I think so.
Because we've only been to Alderaan once.
Yeah.
At the very, very,
Very.
very end
Yes.
of episode 3.
It's very, very.
Yeah, just for a second.
Yeah, we don't even know what is on
Right.
Alderaan. For all we know, it's just a shack and like a gas and sip. You know, they just show up. There's
Jay
no
and
weapons
Silent
allowed.
Bob are standing in the yard smoking cigarettes. And,
That's it.
yeah. No, I love a trip to Alderaan because those of us of a certain age, over 40s, we have this natural attachment to Alderaan because we saw it explode as small children, and that's it. We have no real references to it. So
Well, yeah, we don't know what it looks like. It was here and then it was gone.
right.
Here today, gone tomorrow. And I mean, even in Mandalorian, with there's plenty of refugees,
Right,
but have like
right.
the tattoo of the rebel symbol on their cheek for the loss of Alderaan.
That visual is so powerful for me.
It is.
To
It's
just
very
see
implying.
that little tear, the little Alderaan tear, and then one of the New Republic officers calls it out
Yeah.
during one of the episodes.
They're like, yeah, we saw your tear. We know what you're about.
Who did you lose? Are you kidding me? The entire planet blew up. We lost everyone. Who
Nobody.
was at
I
home
just.
that day.
It was a special that day. I
Right.
was drunk.
It was one of those vending machine tattoos where you put the token in and get the A.
Oh.
Oh.
The tattoo fairy comes out and bing,
Right.
and then just flies off. Why not? That makes perfect sense. But I mean, the Bad Batch is, I think, the perfect vehicle to fill in
Yeah.
so many holes and
And-
so many stories.
And it can be these kind of one-offs, and it can be a little one and done, because their audience is the Star Wars fans, to be sure, but that's more of a, I don't want to say it's meant for the kiddos, but it's a little.
Why not? It is. It is kiddie in
It is a
way.
little kiddie, a little more family
It's family friendly.
friendly.
But I mean, they do give a certain amount of fan service, which
They
I
do.
appreciate,
Yeah.
and I'm all for. I'm waiting to see, because I'm wanting it to end up like Clone Wars did, where we start seeing like casualties and the
Right.
Empire, because they this last episode really hinted at what's the Empire up to.
I was really afraid for a minute that we were actually going to witness the death of Hera's mother. Like
I thought
was
so,
like,
too.
I was like, oh God.
This is setting this up.
I know. So I'm glad that we didn't. At least we haven't seen it so far.
Not yet.
But,
But I'm waiting to see what happens to Kamino.
Right.
I'm waiting for them to just wipe the cloners out.
well, and that's what I said from the beginning.
Yep.
You know, I don't know why they're occupying this force, because we know what happens on Camino. If you're a Star Wars nerd, you know that all of the cloners are killed. The planet is annihilated, which is why we've got all those gross Palpatine jars in The Mandalorian, because he wiped out the technology and then was like, oh, wait, I needed that.
Yeah. Oops. My bad.
Yeah.
That was one of my bodies over there. Crap.
This little
Shit, there-
shriveled finger.
Yeah, there went my head in a jar. Damn
Right?
it.
Right? And then
Sorry, that's the best Seth MacFarlane I can do.
even in the Bad Batch, we see some cloning tubes that are full of proto-Snokes and with the Cad Bane episode. Let's talk about fan service. Let's bring Cad
Oh,
Bane
yeah.
in for a minute.
No purpose in that story
Right.
whatsoever. I was just like,
Okay.
okay, isn't he dead? Didn't he die?
Well, maybe.
I don't know. I mean,
don't think
because he
he
was
did.
during. I mean, I don't know. He just didn't. I was like, okay, all the bounty hunters. Let's bring Cad Bane back. Okay.
Right. I think maybe they thought he was the only one who could go up against Fennec Shand, the way that they've been
Building her up.
And remember, she's early in her career at this point, so she
True.
doesn't have quite the same reputation as later on when she teams up with Boba Fett.
Well, and I honestly was waiting for her. It wasn't. I was expecting her not to be talking to the Caminos, but a young Boba Fett.
Boba.
That's what I was actually waiting for. That he's trying to get his sister.
Right.
That he knows something. That something has come up to his
That's
attention.
an interesting theory.
And that's kind of what I was hoping for. That somehow the Alpha and the
knows.
Omega
Right.
have a connection, and he knows about his sister.
Maybe he does.
And they would literally be, I think, the same age. He would be a little bit older. I think he'd be kind of like around Hera's age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Isn't he still? Where are we in the timeline with Aura Singh here? Because this is immediately after Episode 3, so a couple weeks after Episode 3. So
kind of.
is Aura Singh still alive at this point, or has she had her run-in with Tobias Beckett and conveniently fallen to her doom?
I don't think it's happened yet.
Okay, so then he's still with Aura Singh.
Yeah.
He hasn't broken with her yet, then.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because I think that I honestly would hope we would see that.
Right.
Maybe.
I'd watch that. I just watched like Boba Fett.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
arguing with
Well,
Aura Singh
we're
all
going
over
to.
the-
I mean, we're going to get that story no matter what. I have a feeling the Book of Boba is going to just lay all of this out. But I would love to see Boba and Omega
get together.
get together.
And-
Not like, not get together,
Well,
but
no,
connect.
Find each other.
Yes. That would be, I think would be, because I want to see,
Sometimes you're such a boy.
I know sometimes. I want to see Boba Fett in Django's armor,
Yeah.
Like he scooped out his dad's head,
Ew.
is wearing his bucket.
That's the real reason he's so angry with
He
Mace Windu.
is.
He had to touch the disembodied head.
He just sits there and just, Dad, funk, shit. I didn't need to see that.
At least it's not bloody.
Well, no, I mean, thank God the lightsaber cauterizes it
Right.
as it goes through, but his head's rolling around in that can.
I like the revelation that Boba Fett isn't evil.
No.
That, when we see that baby Boba Fett in the Clone Wars, that he's just on his own suddenly and he's hanging with bad people.
And he's just trying to survive.
Yeah. He's
Well,
just
and
trying to
even-
get along.
Even
Yeah.
like the Bounty Hunter Wars that's running right now in Marvel in the comics, that's actually a really good story because it's depicting what Boba is going through because he's trying to transport Han Solo and Carbonite to Jabba,
Right.
and he loses him. That somebody steals Han Solo's frozen carbonite ass because he had to go get him stabilized.
Right.
So while he's getting stabilized, another set of hunters comes in, swipes him, and takes him to go
Oh my
auction
gosh.
him off.
It sounds like such a farce.
It does sound like a farce,
Yeah.
but it's still entertaining because you're seeing things from Boba's
Right,
perspective, which
right.
we've never gotten.
Well,
At least not well.
And I've gotten a lot of flack for being a Boba Fett fan because that's kind of a stereotypical thing. The girls in the crowd like Empire best, Boba Fett's a real standout. I can't explain why, but he always has been.
Well, the
And
way
so-
they build him, I mean, he's just like this mysterious. He's Snake Eyes for
Right,
Star Wars. He's
right.
this mysterious guy in the background that all of the fans are like,
Who's that?
who's that badass? He didn't do shit.
No.
He gets thrown into a pit, and everyone's like, he's such a badass because he's the most notorious bounty hunter
Right.
in the Parsec. We never see him do shit.
Not until the comic.
No, but he's a chump. He gets beat
not
up
a
by.
chump.
He's a chump. He gets beat up by a Wookiee. He doesn't even get beat up. He gets smacked with a stick and
He-
shoots off.
He has to be sacrificed on the altar of Luke Skywalker's burgeoning Jedi power. That's what it is.
No
That's
force on Earth can withstand
Right.
the Jedi power.
It's true.
All right.
It's true. I like that he's becoming a real character though, instead of just the goober in the holiday special.
So many people have not watched that. If you have not watched that on YouTube, go watch the Boba Fett special from the Christmas.
Yeah.
Don't watch the rest of the Christmas
No,
special
just the
because
the
that'll
Boba Fett.
that'll kill you.
Yeah.
It'll suck anything
It's
in
not
your
fun
head out.
times.
Oh my God, Grandpa Stinky. True story. So I'm gonna catch you up then. Here's
Yes.
the rundown. Hell's
Okay.
Kitchen,
Hell's Kitchen.
Young Guns. The
Okay.
oldest person in there is 23.
All right.
There's been so much crying in the kitchen that it is.
So much crap.
There is. They're just breaking down into tears and crying. There's no crying in the kitchen. Come on. The hell. I know the actors have already been eliminated, so we're actually down to like the chefs, and one who is vegan, who can't taste anything meat, refuses to, is somehow made it this far.
Vegan food is really in right now.
It is, but they're cooking meat dishes, and she's not tasting it.
Oh,
So
that
I'm kind of
seems-
throwing bullshit.
Does she have an assistant?
No.
Or someone to come and...
No, they've even pointed this out that she doesn't taste anything
She's
that's
just
like,
flying completely blind?
yeah, it's just kind of adding stuff and throwing stuff in there and cooking stuff, and it looks done and pokes it and like that's exactly what my
Okay.
and my inside me made.
Okay.
It's like. So there's just like these weird things, but I mean I've never seen such a bunch of chefs crying before in all of my life.
I think I might just cry if Gordon Ramsay walked in the room. He scares me.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to meet Ramsay.
I would too,
Him
but
and
then
Guy.
I would start like weeping and getting panicky. It'd be like,
Well, it's funny because the
he
20
would know that the dinner I made was somehow not...
Well,
top
I think he would take that into
marks.
consideration. You're not a chef. But, I mean, these 20-somethings, they're even talking about just how Gordon Ramsay has this aura.
Right.
And they're just, like, totally, like, bought into
Right.
to the Ramsay-ness.
I get it. That happens in our community too. There are some big celebs that it probably doesn't happen to you, but them just being in the room is like, oh.
There'd be a couple that would throw me.
David Tennant was one for me. Like
How much time did you spend with Tennant?
maybe 5 whole minutes, which
Oh,
is
wow.
a lot in
That
that
is a lot,
line.
yeah.
We were talking about, sorry about the gross name dropping here. Jim Moffu did a commission for me. You guys have seen it. It's at my house, the Kilgrave. And that's what I brought to be signed instead of just the 8x10.
Very nice.
Because I'm a huge Jessica Jones fan. I'm a huge Defenders fan. I'm a huge Brian Michael Bendis fan. And so that was more meaningful to me than the publicity shot.
Right.
And it's acrylic paint and a little charcoal, and it's just a rad picture that Jim did for me. And then, so David and I were talking about Doctor Who. His wife is the daughter of a previous Doctor Who, and so there's this Doctor Who legacy. We were talking about, I think Good Omens had been announced, but they hadn't quite filmed yet.
Right.
Good Omens is one of my favorite books, so we were talking about that. And Neil
Good
and
Lord, you had
Terry.
a chat.
We did, and then we were talking about Kilgrave and how that and the Netflix interpretation was so powerful. And then he did a scary Kilgrave voice for me, and then we talked about Jim. Yeah. And it was that
His
voice.
Good Samaritan film was way dark.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Um,
I'm surprised you haven't watched it, but go on.
No. And we were talking about the painting that Jim did for me and why it was meaningful. And just every time I saw him move through the convention, because my booth, that was in Seattle. My booth in Seattle is by the bathroom, so I see everybody.
Sooner or later,
right?
they
I
all
see
gotta go.
everybody. And so just knowing that he was in the building, it just gives this aura. It just changes everything.
Right.
And then because I'm freakishly competitive and
No,
yeah, so like I step up my game when these people are around, and so I feel like maybe that's what's happening in Gordon Ramsay's TV kitchen, or these kids like getting that aura and trying to do better because of
maybe.
Chef Ramsay, or they
I would think if Gordon Ramsay was coming to my house, I don't know what I would do.
I'd see if he could make me like fucking eggs.
I would
Make me like eggs.
make me some eggs.
Chef.
Actually, that's
I mean,
a
I'd make
common,
I'd make him some breakfast food.
Yeah.
I do. No, I don't know if I'd do eggs Benedict, but I mean, I would do something simple,
Well,
munchy.
my kid is
Nothing
an
frozen.
aspiring chef.
Right.
Eric is an aspiring chef. So he goes on these chef auditions, basically, and they ask him to make an omelet because it's just basic ingredients. And if you jack that up, you're not gonna deal with harder things.
Kick rocks, kid.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, you can do
So-
chicken marsala, but you can't even cook an omelet. Fuck off.
Yeah, because it's temperature sensitive and the ingredients have to
Very
be
timing
right, and you
oriented.
have to, yeah, so yeah.
I get it.
I know you were being a smart ass,
I
but
hate eggs.
I hate eggs.
So if you can make me like an egg, you're shit.
Because that is the key. If PJ likes your egg, you're in.
I'm like, otherwise, I can make fucking chicken. Who can make everybody?
Everyone makes chicken. So you'd have to do something clever. And I don't know if I would serve. I mean, what do you serve? Like, even if like Guy, I think would be easier
right.
because he's so down to earth. And
Right.
I mean, I don't know if I'd do a burger for Guy because he's been to all these burger joints and all that.
Right.
But Gordon, I mean, I think beef Wellington is his favorite. And by all stretch of the imagination, is not the easiest thing for me to cook. Because
Well-
I've done Wellington a couple of times.
It's just not an easy thing to cook.
Few successes. Yeah. Thank God the one time that I was trying to make it for someone, it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the times for me, I was just like, oh, this isn't edible. But I
That-
cooked it, so I better eat it.
That
Like,
would be the worst
yeah,
date ever.
couldn't get it.
That would be the worst
Way to
date
go,
ever.
Smurf. Gave her food poisoning and gave her a bad date. All right. I don't know. I mean, yeah. What would you make Gordon Ramsay? Let us know. I'd be curious what the geeks out there, because I would just be fine with giving them a bowl of Apple Jacks
Right.
and we sit down and some toast
Right.
and we talk, because that's what I would do.
That's probably what he would really like.
I think
Just
so.
put out a cereal buffet. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be. That would probably be the most unusual thing he sat down to, because everyone wants to impress him with their cooking skills.
Right.
Because everyone in their head, I know cooking.
I could do it.
Yeah, I could do it. Yeah, bullshit.
I like to cook, and I would still go with the cereal buffet.
Yeah, I think the
wouldn't-
cereal
yeah.
buffet is the winner. If I'm wrong, let me know. The Hustler, which is an amazingly weird show. It's got Craig Ferguson, and you have 5 people sitting around bluffing everybody as far as who their real identity is as you're answering trivia questions. And all of the
Okay.
questions revolve around the Hustler. And the Hustler is trying to get to the end and not be identified as the Hustler. And there is every correct question answered, you get $10,000 into the pot.
Huh.
So if you identify the Hustler,
Right.
the two split it because it comes down to 3 people.
Okay.
Two contestants in the Hustler. The Hustler knows all the answers and has to try to direct the
Okay.
people to the questions
game
correctly.
show.
It is a game show, but it's very interesting. And I was talking with Red yesterday, so I could see Red totally like befuddling people
Right.
and making them think she's not the Hustler and just being just Red.
Just winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
I'm
push.
with you.
I want to push Red into this game show.
I want to play to answer the questions because no one will play trivia with me because
Oh, Red absolutely would do that.
because I'm a pub quiz ringer.
Yeah.
And
So's Red. Red. I mean, this the weird random knowledge that comes out of that woman
Right.
is amazing, and I'm like, how do you know that? And then she'll
Because
go
we
into
read.
well, and it's you. Sometimes it is just she reads, but she always has like some weird story. Well, you other see there's this one time like the Apple story. It's just this weird tangent that like
Right.
connects to like Slumdog Millionaire. It's
Right.
just things that have happened in your life that have led to these questions. So that's kind of what I don't know what I'm going to take because I want her on the game show and I want Private Cheeseburger AA Ron to still do mini golf.
Right.
The Holy Moly. I
Right.
think that would be perfect. But if not, I'm going to get PJ to go. I want PJ on the putt-putt. I think
Nice.
that would be great.
Nice.
I don't know what your costume will be or what your alter ego will be yet. But I'm gonna get you on there. I just want to I just want to go. That's all. Just see people get hit with water jets.
I have a whole bolt of Hello Kitty fabric.
Oh.
Like we could.
You know what
do
I
it
think
up.
we could do? The Hello Kitty Samurai.
Oh yeah.
That would be great.
I'm here for that. Let's do it.
Oh
Let's
my
do it.
yes.
A little
Okay.
warbler, a little.
Oh
little
yeah.
spray paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yatta!
Yeah.
Anyway. Just a couple last things. Lego Masters, which has been kind of disappointing. You know what I've decided with Lego Masters is as much as I love the bricks and I love Lego, there's no personalities on this show.
No, because it's us. It's hard to watch, because
Yeah.
we all are building some huge Lego thing in
Yeah.
our basements, and so it's not fun. It's not escapism when you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm sad because I love Will Arnett because he's Lego Batman, of
Right.
course, and I love the 2 people from Lego. But last season we had the bearded guys who were he's singing while he's doing his Lego sets. Okay, the married couple, as creepy as they were still entertaining and very energetic. These group is just kind of like. They're trying.
Yeah.
You can see Will trying to coax like personality out of the twins or other contestants, but it's just like makes me sad.
I think it's really hard to be the second cast of any
I
kind
think
of
so.
reality or competition show because, even look way back at MTV. The first Real World, that was good
That was.
because they were just trying to figure it out. There was no formula. There was no...
There wasn't.
they were just flying by the seats of their pants and making mistakes and fighting with each other and getting through it. But after that point, you had to have a type. You had to have a formula. You had to have, and it started to go awry. And I don't know if the show puts that on people or if they put it on themselves.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
I would never want to be in the second or third cast of anything like that because the expectations are too high.
Huge. Well, no, and that brings me to my Lego point. Jerry Seinfeld's apartment from Idea Sets goes on sale tonight. And in participation of like the other sets, like the Friends apartment, Central Perk.
Right.
It starts tonight, July 20th through the 21st. Probably about 9 p.m. our standard time. And it looks like Jerry's apartment.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
It is. That's just snazzy. But I'm wondering if Lego's just getting lazy at this point. Because I don't know. I mean, because you got Central Perk, the other Friends apartment, and Big Bang Theory, and I'm just getting tired of the ideas being just throwaway pop culture.
But that's what's going on right now, though. I mean, that's
a sad
even
state of
for us,
affairs.
That's pop culture is my bread and butter. So
I guess that's true. The set starts at $79.99. The Seinfeld Lego set focuses on the iconic kitchen, the living room area of Jerry's apartment. Accessory elements include a blue statue, which evidently is Superman, Muffin Top, which is a very good episode, painting of Uncle Leo, Prognosis Negative videotape, Commando 8 air conditioner, a Festivus pole, because, no season is complete without the Festivus pole. There are also 5 minifigures, Jerry, George, Costanza, Kramer, and Elaine, and, of course, Newman. He'd be, like, the only one I would really want.
Yeah.
Kramer and Newman are the only characters, because I'd have a mail truck
right.
for my Lego City and have Newman driving it.
Oh, that's great. I am still 8 years old when it comes to Legos, and I judge the set's value entirely by how many people it comes with.
How many minifigs?
Yeah. So Jeremy and I just had this conversation the other day. There's a Razor Crest that's like $179.
Yep.
And I keep sending him a text message that says, but it comes with 5 guys.
Yep, I bought it.
It comes with 5 guys.
And it comes with a baby Yoda.
Yeah,
He's
I
so
know.
tiny. I
So
put him
cute.
in the cockpit so I wouldn't lose him.
Right.
And that's where he's sitting right now because I don't know
Right.
I don't know where I want to put the Razor Crest in relation to the rest of my Star Wars.
You could put it at
Sets.
my house.
You say that because what I did, I remember when I did the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and I was running into the same problem because my city, I hadn't adjusted for the firehouse yet.
Right.
And they're all like, "Well, you can just build it and leave it at my house." I'm glad that didn't work out because I don't even talk to that person anymore, and I would have lost my Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Well, I wouldn't. If we stopped being friends, I wouldn't keep your stuff. I'm not.
No,
like
you'd
that.
smash it into
I
1,000
would
pieces and bring it back to
I'm
me.
not
Here
vindictive
you go.
like that. I'm not vindictive like that. Don't believe the hype. I'm a nice person.
You are a nice person. I would not expect that of you. Not at all. But I've even got custom. So now I've got custom blasters for
the
Mando.
Lego. Oh, yeah.
So he's got his own little gun and the disintegrator, and
That's rad.
I go
Mando.
way overboard when it comes to Lego. But I don't know where to put the ship
Yeah.
in relation to everything else.
We haven't brought out our we moved into that house 3 years ago, and we're still unpacking. I have Lego sets in the basement that haven't come out yet. So
How dare you?
I know. I had to get the wall of nerd up first. That was my priority. And
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Now you have it up.
Now I have it up. Now I got to bring the Legos out.
Time to build the Lego City.
Yeah. We have, they're changing the name. It's the Slave One, but Disney is changing the name of Boba Fett's ship. Did you know about that?
No. Why?
Because of the connotations associated with the Slave One. I get it. It's a trendy move, and good for them for trying to be on top of things. But
Sure.
so I have that, and in reference to your Grogu being in the cockpit of the Razor Crest,
Right.
I've got Han Solo and Carbonite, and he lives inside the ship,
Yep.
so I don't lose it, or so my cat doesn't take him and chew
Yeah,
him
because
up.
my cat as well will come up and, well, there goes Solo.
Right, and then you've got a $1,500 vet bill to remove Grogu or Han Solo and Carbonite from your cat, and that's not fun times either.
So it's funny because the Lego Dimensions game,
Mm-hmm.
you would have the minifigs set up. I don't know what it was, but my cat either hated or loved Vinkman. Because he was the only one that was off the dial,
Right.
because you've got the position to put all the figs, and picked up and was always over by their toys or on their apparatus. And I'm like, why are you taking Vinkman? Do you like Vinkman, or are you just trying to kill Vinkman? I don't know what it was, but finally I had to move the set away, or then I
Right.
just put them all in
Right.
the big plastic case. But just the weirdest freaking thing.
Cats are weird.
Yeah, they are. Moving on, our final bit of news. Lots going on in the con world. Like we mentioned before, the pop culture, I don't even know, Fan
Expo Denver.
Yeah, you applied.
I did.
You haven't heard anything yet.
No, but they just opened up general applications last week, and so I'm trying not to panic.
Yeah. I haven't heard any. The funny thing is, though, because you're not the only person that I know that has applied.
Right.
Lots of people applied, and we have not heard anything back yet. So if you're waiting, wait a little longer.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I'm freaking out for no reason. There's no reason to be panicky because they just opened general applications. And so
you being the overachiever, you were like already had it ready and
am.
just hit send.
Right. I'm like ready to line up a parade and wave and throw confetti at these people.
Well,
like,
press doesn't even open until August.
I know.
So I'm just sitting here just do. PJ and I are like, so do we buy tickets?
Right.
Because VIP is $3, and we're like,
It's sold out.
Yeah, $300, and I'm like, who's got an extra $3 to spend on VIP?
Right.
And this is before we had any guests. We had Michael Rooker, didn't we?
Yeah.
Announced, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I'm excited. I'm glad the show's going to go on. I really want to work. I really miss
wanna
you
do a
guys.
con.
I really miss our friends. I really miss doing the. I really miss being at the show.
I do too.
So yeah, I'm into it.
But if you can't wait that long, which we know you can't, the Outworld Colorado Festival of Horror beer party, save the date, has been announced. And I don't have it in front of me, actually. I am a very bad person. It's
August 21st.
Thank you. August 21st, which has been announced. There's still secrecy around the beer.
Yes.
Which we love.
Yes.
Because Susie and I were there a couple weeks ago, and I took a picture of the vat that has our beer
I love their brewing room.
in it. Their brewing room is amazing.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Jeremy W.
Jeremy W. Jeremy squared. I mean, that thing is so pristine and just beautiful
Right?
and immaculate.
It's wonderful.
It
The
is.
restaurant's super clean too.
Yeah. I mean, they spare no expense in cleaning. That's obvious.
Well, they take pride in what
They
they're
do.
doing.
So the beer is sitting right there. It's right by the door.
Yes.
So Jeremy was even like, "You want to take a sip?" And I'm like, but then the master brewer is all like, "There's still stuff that needs to be added. It's fermenting right now.
Don't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Don't touch it." And I'm like, "But I wanna." So no spoilers, but there is more coming on the Colorado Festival of Horror beer, and then of course Colorado Festival of Horror, which is September 10th through the 12th. Susie will not be there because
Will not.
she's trekking her ass to Florida.
We're going to Miami. We're gonna go do.
Going too much.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of Will Smith memes and jokes at my house right now. Everybody's pretty sick of it, but. We're going to do Florida SuperCon for Reed Pop, and I'm so excited about that. There's been some negotiations at home on whether or not we're going to stay at the Ritz-Carlton.
I'd stay at the Ritz-Carlton.
But since I haven't worked in 18 months, I think we're going to have to go with the Hyatt.
Well, I feel bad because I was supposed to join you on this trip, but Colorado Festival of Horror trumps
Yeah,
Florida.
I think you should do the show that you're organizing.
Yeah. No shit, eh?
Right? Just
As much as I want to
Just a
go,
hint.
so that's just fine. Save
Right.
the Ritz-Carlton for when we go to Seattle,
we're going to Seattle.
because we're going to do Emerald City.
Yeah.
I will be in Emerald City to help Susie with her table, and that is in December.
December 2nd through 5th
So
Yeah.
we're trekking our asses to,
to Seattle.
God, I hope it's warm. It gets cold and rainy in Seattle in
It
December.
does get cold. It does. It'll be fine because
And there are hills. I don't like walking in the rain up a hill.
so the hotel we book
Right.
is it shares an interior wall with the convention center.
Okay, good.
But there's no interior door, so we only have to walk around. Like
That's fine.
it's not even a whole block. We
I'm
just
fine
have to
with
walk
that.
around the corner.
Because every time it seems that I go to Emerald City, I'm at the bottom of the hill.
Oh no!
And you just...
Because
And this is post-COVID that I'm breathing heavy.
Right.
I can't imagine what's going to happen now. Shit, I'm just barely getting back in the gym.
it's yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to die.
No, it's gonna be great.
It'll be fine.
It's gonna be great.
It will be great. I'm excited to see Emerald City.
Me too.
So
I love them. I'm glad they're going on too.
Yes.
So
we've got Outworld doing our beer. Colorado Festival of Horror is set. Guests are set. Tickets are available. We've announced our guests that we will have at our table. So Red will be releasing her book. Bob Hall will be coming to town.
so excited.
Taking commissions. So good. Wait till you see the interviews we got planned. But on top of that...
But wait, there's more.
There's more. Working with Outworld, Suz-E, the immaculate brain that she carries in that little dome of hers, came up with this idea to do a bazaar at Outworld.
Yes, and applications just went live today. So hit up my link tree, and there's some links on Suzy Q's Facebook and Instagram page if you're interested in being a vendor. We are working with the awesome gang at Outworld, and we're going to do a little market, it's going to be great. I can't wait.
And Jeremy W. is excited about this because he's always had like this vision of doing like a con or a mini con of his own.
Right.
So this is kind of taking those steps forward to do a bazaar type of thing. And I think it'll actually go quite well in the room.
Well, and their Outworld is planning a brunch, so they're planning to open regularly for brunch in the near future. So we will have brunch going on. We'll have vendors. We're getting a DJ. It's gonna be rad. I can't wait.
I know. You're putting a lot into this.
I am.
I can't believe. So we go to plan this, and Jeremy and I go into the brewing room. We come out 5-10 minutes tops. Susie's got the whole fucking place mapped out with tables. She whipped out her graph paper and just went to town. 5 minutes, done. You had it all worked out.
Well, it's easier to get vendors to come if they know how big the booth is. So it was pragmatism. It wasn't any. But yeah, my secret superpower is organization. Yeah.
So where do they need to go to find out and fill out an application if they're interested in going to the Outworld Bazaar?
If you go to my Linktree page, which is Linktree/SuzyQ's, there's a button that says Outworld Bazaar. There is a Google link on Suzy Q's Facebook page today, and there's a link in our Instagram bio as well.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
Because I know Red will be there. I'll be there. Most likely PJ will be there at my table.
PJ will be there.
Because I don't know what I'm going to put on my table.
Actually, another friend of mine has already committed, Marcy Lundy from 303 Face and Body. She does handmade, organic skincare and beauty products. She's awesome.
Cool.
So we've already committed to that.
So I can get some new night creams?
You can get some new night creams.
Got to stay pretty.
Yeah. Moisturizing.
Moisturizing is key.
Essential, yeah.
Moisturize me.
Yes. So we're off to a good start, and I'm really looking forward to this.
What's the date that we have set for Outworld Bazaar?
November 14th, just before the holidays, so you can do some holiday shopping.
Some preemptive gift-giving ideas.
Yes. And then look like a rock star cruising into Thanksgiving with all of your gifts purchased.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can even buy some Suzy Q items.
That's right.
Some unique jewelry.
Yeah. So what do you think will happen when both of the Jeremys are in the same room together?
They can't exist simultaneously.
Is there going to be like a Jeremy paradox?
Oh my! Exactly.
Is there going to be?
We're gonna the big long J.
A Jeremy-shaped black hole.
It will be strange.
Yeah, it will be.
Interesting. There you go. And on that bombshell, we shall say goodbye. We appreciate you guys settling in with us for this afternoon. Please, of course, like, share, give us a subscribe. We need all the love and help that we can get in the mad world of geekdom. But in the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind.